There are certain board games that are just iconic. And I'm not talking about old games like Monopoly and Clue and Life. I'm talking about modern board games that just blew up and took off and sold over 1 million copies, which for a board game is massive. And that game, or the one game that I'm thinking of when I talk about this, is Wingspan. Now, Wingspan is a game that I've loved for a very long time. It's been in my collection, I almost think, since it was released. I have expansions for it. I've got the Oceania expansion. I've got the Asia expansion. I've got the European expansion. But one thing I don't have is the nesting box. And I wish I had the nesting box, because then maybe my issue with the game wouldn't be such a big deal. But recently, a new game launched that made me say, what is better? What would I rather play? This is my first episode of a series of videos called Versus. And in Versus, we're going to be looking at games that have similar mechanics. So, for this one, we're going to be talking about Wingspan. And we're going to be talking about a brand new game called Raising Robots. Let's take a look. The way Wingspan and Raising Robots works is that you have this tableau that you're building in front of you. And during the game, you're going to be placing cards down on that tableau. And when you take certain actions in certain areas of the board, you're going to be able to chain together the cards you've played. So if you do like this action here at the top, afterwards, you can, in Wingspan, you can activate that bird, and then activate that bird, and then activate that bird. And there's a variety of different things these birds can do. Some of them let you put eggs all over your board, and eggs can be worth points. They need to be spent, and stuff like that. Some cards will say, hey, if you flip the top card of the bird deck, and the wingspan of that bird is smaller than, however, like I don't know wingspans, but if it's smaller than a certain amount, you can tuck the card underneath this card. Usually that's for a predator like a bald eagle or a falcon. And you'll get points for that at the end of the game. Very cool, very fun. If you love birds, even if you don't love birds, it's just a really nice looking game. The cards have so much information on them. But there's a lot of cards now with all of these different expansions. Just recently, I somewhat got a review copy for Raising Robots. And the reason why I say somewhat is because Raising Robots put together by two guys, Brett Sobel and Seth Van Orden. A very small company called Navu Games right here. This is a quality title, but they are a small company, so they said, hey, we'd love for you to review our game. We're small. We can't just be handing them out to everybody under the sun. So I did pay to have it shipped to me, and I paid for, like, the cost of the game, like, to produce it. So I think overall I paid $40 or $50 just to get the game into Canada, into my hands to play it. And for me, right now, there is way less content, at least from what I own, there is less content in Raising Robots than Wingspan. And some people would say, well, obviously then you want to play Wingspan if there's more content in Wingspan. But the more I play Raising Robots, the more I begin to ask myself, do I need Wingspan in my collection? Now, ultimately the answer to that question is going to be 100% yes, because there are days where I probably want to play Wingspan, but I might not, want to play it all the time. It's a little bit of work now to get Wingspan to the table, because once you've, opened up all the boxes, I've got Wingspan, I've got, like I said, I've got Oceania, I've got Asia, and I've got Europe. And while some of these don't change anything, some of them do add some new rules, like the Nectar and the brand new player boards and things like that. If I played Wingspan so much that I had the rules down pat, this wouldn't be a big issue, because I would say, oh, I know all the rules, let's just shuffle the cards and go. But because of how many games I own and how many games I play now, I might not play Wingspan more than once in a year. And so each time I'm pulling it out, I'm trying to teach it. You got multiple rule books. And to me, getting it down to the table is quite a bit of work. With Raising Robots, I don't have that issue, because everything is just in this one box. There's like 96 total robot cards, and I got the Pets expansion, so there's some pet robots as well that I can add to the game. But like besides that, it's really quick to get set up. I've got a pre-made baggie for every single player that has all their player pieces, all the upgrade tokens. Getting this game set up and played, I can do it in an hour right now. And again, I'm more familiar with Raising Robots because I've been playing it so much for review lately that it's really freshened in my brain. I get that. And that's the reason why I said I will never take Wingspan out of my collection, because I feel like I'm going to come back to it. But if someone asked me today, hey, should I play Wingspan or should I play Raising Robots. And that is the ultimate question of this versus episode. And here's what I would say. If you want fantastic art, both games are going to provide you fantastic art. If you want a streamlined experience, one that's a little bit easier to keep track of, in my opinion, in terms of the cards and what they do and how they work, because there's so much symbology and not a lot of words in Raising Robots. Like, you're looking at symbols and not words. I think this is an easier game to teach. I think this is an easier game to play. I think this is a faster game to play. And right now, where I'm at right now with my gaming group and the games behind me and the games here on the table, this is the one I would play first right now. And if I'm saying pick one and play one, not the other one, this is the one I would say pick up and play this. This might be a little bit harder to find, though. The one thing I would say is that if you don't buy a lot of games, and the games you do buy, you play again and again and again and again, which obviously I do not, then this probably isn't the game for you. And the reason why is because this is all there is right now. There are 96 robot cards. I think there's 30 pet cards, maybe 10 inventors, 12 inventors you can choose from to be like your starting character with special powers. And that's it. Like, that's the game. That's the change in the gameplay. That's as much as the gameplay is going to change. At least when it comes to Wingspan, if you like it, let's say you just do the basics and you're like, all right, we're going to buy just the base game of Wingspan. This is it. We've got it. We're going to play it. And you love it. Well, then why not tack on Wingspan Oceania? Or why not tack on Wingspan Asia? Or why not tack on Wingspan Europe expansion? And when you're done with all that, why don't you go on the Stonemaier Games website and buy the fan art pack and add even more cards to your game? I just think there's two ways to look at this. And I almost, in this video, I'm almost never going to say only play this and throw this in the garbage. That's very rarely going to happen, I think, in this series. This is an example of if you want the streamlined experience, quick experience, easy to teach, not too much going on in terms of, you know, there is stuff going on because you got to play your right robots. There's a ton of strategic decisions here, but there's not a lot of words. You don't have to read a lot. You don't have to worry about what other people are doing as much in this game. I don't even think you ever need to worry about what other people are doing, which to some people is a bad thing. But like, if you're playing Wingspan with a ton of people, like, I don't want to keep looking over at your board. Oh, what do you got there? What does that card do? Like, stuff like that, like when you can copy a power and stuff like that. But if you're grabbing a game and you're like, man, this is my 2024 game, then obviously it's Wingspan, because you can get all this. You can get all this. You're going to pay for all this, but you can get all this. And I think that if that's what you're going to do with your games, Wingspan is the better option. For me personally, right now, it's Raising Robots. This is a fantastic experience. I've got a written review up on the website. I've got a components unboxing up on the website. That would be gamesreviews.com. Please go check it out. But right now, this would be my pick of tableau building, card playing games. All right, guys, if you like this video, please let me know. If there are two games you would like me to compare and I have them in my collection or I can easily get them, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what games you want to see me comment on in a versus video in the future. But until next time, folks, thanks for watching, and we'll chat again real soon. Goodbye.